Welcome to the Future Docs podcast. My name is Brianna, and just like many of you, I'm an aspiring physician. And in this video, I just want to give you guys some tips and tricks and things that I wish I knew 3 MCAT retakes ago. Tip number 1, please make sure that you take your prerequisite courses before you take the MCAT. Do not take this exam before you take these courses. Biology 1 and 2, Inorganic Chemistry 1 and 2, Organic Chemistry 1 and 2, Biochemistry. I cannot stress that enough. Biochemistry. Physics 1 and 2, Psychology and Genetics. In my opinion, you should not skip any of those courses. I don't care if it takes you until like the first semester of your senior year of undergrad. Take your time getting through school and like making sure that you're honing in on the different topics that is discussed in class, that you're paying attention during lectures, because I'm telling you, this information is going to pop back up. Tip number 2. Please start studying early. Start as early as you can. And when you start studying, I'm not saying that you have to go full on, like reading 40 chapters in an MCAT book every single day. That's not what I mean. I just mean you don't want to wait until it's your second semester in your senior year of college and you're like, oh crap, well, I want to go into medical school and I've got the GPA and I've got the community service and I've got the clinical experience, but I have not.
Hey y'all, I'm watching this back and doing some edits, and I just wanted to let you guys know that yes, for sure, the MCAT is not something that you should just take straight off the dome, like off the cuff, thinking that, yeah, I'm graduating with my BS in biology or chemistry and I know my stuff, like I'm about to graduate with a whole degree, like surely I can do well on this exam. Trust me, I thought the same thing, and so many did my other colleagues, and this just isn't that kind of test. The MCAT does not compare to any other exam you have taken in college, in high school, or any other part of your academic career. So I'm telling you now, this is a test that you have to study for, and you have to study hard for it.
Tip number 3. So, I know this may sound contradictory to what I just told you guys in tip number 2, to make sure you study early, but my 3rd tip is to make sure that you also do not rush to take this exam. I have tried and I have failed in my 3 retakes to take this exam in a 3 to 4 month time period. And I do believe that that was one of the detriments to why I did not perform as well as I wanted to on this exam. So now after hearing from some other mentors and other doctors who are more keen on really the time frame that helps students become more successful and reach their score goals that they have, study for anywhere between 6 months to a year for this exam, you guys. Tip number 4. So my 4th tip is that prep courses are nice, but they are not necessary, in my opinion, okay? So I took prep courses. I tried Princeton Review and Kaplan Review, so I can speak for those 2 preparatory courses. And from my perspective, after having my own personal experience with both, I would say they do a good job of helping you formulate a study schedule if you need help with that. They also do a good job of informing you a bit more about test-taking strategy and some helpful tips to help you eliminate answers and do a better job of picking out which answer is the correct one and why the others are incorrect. So they do a good job with that. They also help you a bit with time management. But other than that, you guys, I would say that they're very expensive, and I'm not personally an advocate of spending extra money in an already very expensive process. And to me, even though they do help you with these things, they are not going to help you get that content inside of your brain. There is still a lot of self-studying that you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to be accountable and responsible to make sure you're getting that knowledge and that you know the material, because they're not going to do it for you. Tip number 5. Okay, so my 5th tip is resources. So I'm gonna hit you guys with the free ones first, right? Because those are the ones that we really want to get our hands on. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know about Khan Academy, but if you don't, that is a great resource. I went there multiple times after I had reviewed content, whether it was in a book or after watching a video, to take some practice quizzes, just seeing whether or not I was able to retain that little bit of knowledge that I just put into my brain and I was understanding things. So Khan Academy 1. 2, I would say Anki. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard and know that is really the study gem at this point, like for pre-meds like us, and what I'm hearing a lot of the medical students are using too. So Anki's the second one. A third one I would also say is Jack Weston's CARS passages. Now they're not going to be as on point as AMC resources, but they are going to do a good job of getting you that repetition and practice that you need for the CARS section specifically, and helping you understand what study strategy works for you in that specific subject on the MCAT. Let me check a couple other ones. Is anything else free? So YouTube videos, I think you guys also know that as well. I was able to get a hold of some, I don't remember the name of the YouTuber, but I'll see if I can find it and then put it in the description box. But there are so many videos that will help you learn the amino acids, the names, how to draw them, you guys, as well as their abbreviations, literally in like 10-minute video, maybe even less than that. So YouTube is definitely a great resource also. That is for free. Now the other ones that we need, or at least that I highly recommend, that are going to cost some money, but is going to be worth it. So of course you're going to need the AMC materials, you guys. This is going to be the number one resource, that we can't live without, and we can't be successful on the MCAT without it, because these are the creators of the test. So that's where we're going to get our practice test from when it gets down to the nitty gritty and you're about to take the exam. That's what's going to be the indicator mark to show you whether or not you are prepared based on your scores on those practice tests. And it's also going to help you with your content areas that you're weaker in by doing practice passages, practice questions, and using their Q banks, everything that you can afford. I know it's expensive, you guys, but as many materials from AMC that you can utilize, please do so. UWorld subscription. So I highly recommend UWorld for practice questions. Awesome resource. Another one is Chad's videos. Oh my goodness, you guys. Chad was a godsend for me for the chemistry section on the MCAT. That was one of the weaker areas for me, and he does an excellent job of breaking down multiple topics that are what are considered high content, on the MCAT exam. He does a great job of breaking down multiple subjects in the science subjects. So that is biochem he has videos for, physics he has videos for, and chemistry he has videos for. And those are the resources I would highly recommend. Tip number 6. So my 6th tip, maybe you guys would have guessed it after I just mentioned all these resources. It's going to require some money. So tip number 6 is start saving your money now. I know that I didn't perform as well on the MCAT, but I do know that most of the people who are successful on the MCAT, they have to dish out some coins, to get those AMC resources, to pay for that UWorld subscription, and it is not cheap. Y'all, I spent almost $1,100.
Oh my God!
Of the MCAT resources that I bought and purchased, from Kaplan books to the AMC resources to subscribing to Chad's videos, and it was expensive. And that's just kind of a part of it, So that's my 6th tip, is to save your money as early as you can. Tip number 7. So for this 7th tip, I really want to encourage you guys to try to find a study group if you can. I know when I was studying for the MCAT, it was very isolating. I felt very lonely and just really in it all by myself, y'all. And that really does play tricks like on your mental, and it makes things more difficult when you're already, in a difficult spot, trying to keep yourself motivated and stay accountable and continue to grind like how you need to. And if I would have had some other colleagues or classmates who I could have been able to be on Zoom calls with while studying, or, really meet up at a library or at a coffee shop, to be able to study together or bounce questions off of each other and quiz each other, it would have given me so much better of a support system, and just an environment that would have been more affirming and encouraging, because you really want to feel that we're all in this together type of camaraderie. And even though you have your friends and your family, they don't understand this process. We understand this process, and other people who are in the same boat as you understand this process. And if you can find some other people who are studying in the same time frame that you are, link up with them. I'm telling you, it really helps. Tip number 8. Okay, so my 8th tip is practice, and more practice. So it's really simple, you guys. Practice makes perfect, In order to be able to get better at taking this exam, you just got to keep on taking it. And don't get down whenever you take a practice test and the score isn't where you hoped it had been, or it went down a little bit compared to the last test that you took. You just gotta keep building that muscle and strengthening it. It is going to build your stamina. It is going to give you more eyes on questions and paragraphs and storylines, and all of those things. They're gonna play a helpful role in increasing your performance in the long run, and also showing you whether or not you are on the right trajectory that you want to be to get that score that you are aiming for. Tip number 9. Okay, so my 9th tip is to manage your stress. And I know this sounds easier said than done. Trust me, I know. But it is so important, y'all. Like, your mental, emotional, and physical well-being is key, as well as all of the content and all of the hours you're putting in studying. It's just as important to maintain, some work-life balance. And I think now's a good time to go ahead and start practicing that, right? Before we get into medical school. Like, already figuring out, okay, I'm gonna study for this long, but then I'm gonna go for a walk, or then I'm gonna go work out, or then I'm gonna go meet up with a friend and get some drinks, or I'm gonna go and eat this food at my favorite restaurant, or I'm gonna watch my Netflix show, or spend some time with my family. You have to continue to maintain a life pretty much outside of studying, because it's not everything, and you have to be able to refuel yourself and put some more energy back into your tank, because I'm telling you, this exam, it will deplete you. You're taking withdrawals from yourself, because there's so much time that you're dedicated to being in these books, and you just need to try to maintain as much balance as you can. Tip number 10. Okay, y'all, so my 10th tip is confidence really is key for this exam. I can tell you guys from my experience that just because you put in the long hours and you've taken all the practice tests and you see from your scores that it looks like you're ready to take this exam, if you do not walk into that testing center on test day with confidence, it can affect your score. It can affect the outcome. It can affect your final result. You need to walk in there with boldness. You need to walk in there with I'm finna kill this exam. I don't know what you need to do for yourself to get you in that space. I don't know if you want to listen to some bumping hip hop music, or if you need to pray or meditate, or do some jumping jacks or stretch or whatever it is. But whatever you need to do to be able to pump yourself up so you're ready when you get through that testing center door, do it. Okay, last but not least, you guys, I have one quick bonus tip for you. And it's to just do the best that you can on this test. Man, the MCAT, we all know it's a mess. It's unfair. I think it's so unfair that this is what determines, how competitive we're seen as applicants when we go through this application process. But, the reality is that it is very important, and it's something that you want to do as well on as you possibly can. And I just want to get the uncontrollables out of the way. You cannot control what type of test you get on exam day, because at the end of the day, after all of the studying you've done, you can get a test that's just bogus and it has all of your weaknesses on that exam. It has a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't study for, those other things that we're told to be like low content areas, or, small little things that we didn't study, those things can pop up on the exam, but you can't control that. You can't control the other people who are taking the test with you, nor the administrators of the test. You cannot control traffic on that day. These are things that you can't control, but I'm telling you, what you can control is saying, what, no matter what, I'm going to give this test my all, and I'm not going to give up on myself. I am going to give this test 110% until I finish that last question. That's what you can do. And that is what I encourage you all to do. Do your very best and do not give up on yourselves. You can be successful. You can get an awesome score on this exam, okay? So you guys go out there and do it.
So I'm not with nobody, 'cause I don't wanna hurt nobody.